Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and we have a big breaking update from Light Readings, Mike Dano. This is another great update, great article. I will leave it in the description down below. This is in collaboration with the Tech Extremists, so make sure you check out our videos. This will probably be on his channel as well. This is a pretty big update. A lot of people have been asking, after the merger with Sprint, the $60 billion network investment over the next 5 years, what is T-Mobile going to do in the secondary market to make its spectrum more contiguous? Meaning, instead of having 5 megahertz blocks, 10 megahertz, and another 5 megahertz to make 20, now they make it all contiguous to just be one block of 20 megahertz, just for example. And in this case, as you can see by the title, T-Mobile spectrum swap with Verizon hints at merger progress. That is a big, big, big deal. That means T-Mobile is willing, and if they're working with other parties involved to make worthwhile for them, then it seems like they can come to an agreement, get approval, and make it happen. So in this case, T-Mobile and Verizon are asking the FCC to approve a new spectrum exchange deal that the company said would improve their wireless coverage in locations in states ranging from Michigan to Oregon to Illinois. So there are, just for example, as I just mentioned, he said that one of the swaps in Rockville, Illinois would allow Verizon to hold 10 megahertz of contiguous spectrum instead of 2 blocks of 5 megahertz, while T-Mobile would get 25 megahertz of spectrum instead of a block of 20 and then another block of 5 megahertz. So again, just making it contiguous, which is what we've been trying, well, not me, but some analysts have been trying to ask Neville at the earnings calls, what about the fragmentation of the spectrum? They haven't really answered anything publicly on it. But it seems like behind the scenes, and I'm being told as well, they're working this. It's going to take some time, but they are working that secondary market. They're working with the leasing. They're doing spectrum swaps with carriers now, as we see here. And then another interesting thing is, it seems like in some of the markets where T-Mobile can make Verizon contiguous, but Verizon can't help T-Mobile, it seems like there are some 600 megahertz licenses that Verizon got by purchasing smaller operators in Bluegrass, Cellular, and Chat Mobility that they can swap to T-Mobile, and then in return, Verizon gets the spectrum to make them contiguous. So it looks like it's going to work out for both parties. In some areas, T-Mobile is going to gain more 600, and in those areas, Verizon is going to become more contiguous, and then in other areas, they'll both become more contiguous. This is really good to see. Great article from Mike Dano. Of course, a great move by Verizon and T-Mobile. Of course, T-Mobile sounds like they're initiating these discussions. Verizon says, hey, why not? It helps us make our spectrum more contiguous. Now just got to get the FCC on board and then get this to pass through and swap the spectrum. So this includes, just briefly, I forgot to add this in, PCS, AWS 1, 600, and AWS 3. So there's a lot of spectrum being swapped in these instances. And the fact that this is even happening and that this is in discussion lets me know this could happen with AT&T, maybe Dish, other smaller carriers, who knows? Maybe even at a larger scale with Verizon. We'll see what happens. Carriers have been making spectrum swaps for years now, but I think this is good to see that T-Mobile is still willing to work that secondary market to make their spectrum contiguous. So if you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel, you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit that notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow mine and Tech Extremist social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.